What's up, everybody? Welcome into Fantasy Fire and Ice NFL Edition, brought to you by Sportstopia HQ. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Steezy A. Smith, and we're going to be joined by our friend Terrell Furman here ever so shortly. How you doing today, Steezy? Feeling all right? Feeling good? Week 8?
Yeah, bro, I'm feeling great. It's so crazy how fast time flies. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun, and to think that we're already like damn near at the halfway point of the season, it's unfathomable.
Yo, and we're past the halfway point of the fantasy football regular season. We're going to have these playoffs starting coming up in like week 14. Some of you guys got them starting in week 13 probably. So it's that time of year, baby. 7 weeks down, halfway point. Time to take a little check, take a peek at your fantasy team, see how you're doing. And then if it's looking like 1-6, 2-5, maybe doubling down on those DFS lineups to make the rest of your season a little bit better. If you guys have not done so already, we're telling you each and every day, and truly you need to scan that QR code on the screen if you like putting together some sick contrarian lineups, because if you scan that for just $1, you can test drive Fantasy Sports Logic Contrarian Edge Optimizer. Free 7-day trial. And by free, I mean $1, but it is worth that dollar, man. You're going to want to keep it going after that. Man, we got an exciting Thursday night football game tomorrow. I'm not making the same mistake I made last week. I kept thinking it was Thursday. Bills, Buccaneers. Bills coming off a disappointing loss to the Patriots. You think they're going to pull it back together this week against a Buccaneers team that has outperformed what I expected of them so far this season?
Man, I really feel like they're going to have to. And I think for the most part, it does help that they're at home, right? Because a lot of the times the team that's traveling, on a short week, they're at a disadvantage. And Tampa Bay themselves are coming off a very disheartening loss to the Atlanta Falcons game, which they should have had. Like, there was no way that game should have came, down to the wire, especially with Atlanta not having played Bijan and whatever was going on over there. And so Buffalo certainly has the advantage. Obviously, Buffalo is the more talented football team, and they kind of need it more. So, yes, I'm going to have to answer your question by saying yes.
I'm with you. I think they bounced back this week. That was a weird game against the Patriots last week. What the hell happened? Was that just a Bill Belichick special where he typed up the right thing, or was this a Buffalo Bills maybe looking past this game a little bit?
Maybe a little bit of both. I think that with New England, there was just no way that they were going to stink for that long, right? Not with Bill Belichick at the helm, but at the same time, there's only so much that can carry you, throughout the season. And so I think the talent discrepancy, it'll probably show itself again this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Whenever your receiving core, like your best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne, or losing Jacoby Myers means you lost your best wide receiver, that's not a very exciting offense that people are excited to watch over there. We got our friend Sygen in the chat. What's up, my friend? Welcome in. And Steezy on screen and in the chat with the yo.
Yo, what up?
Well, Steezy, before we get into our game of Fantasy Feud today, I wanted to hit some stacks for the people watching as we're heading into week 8. Get those lineups ready for the main slate on Sunday. And I've got one that I want to roll us off the top with. We're going with my boy. I'm wearing the hat. Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk here in week 8. I think this game is sneaky, man. I think this game could be a sneakily high-scoring game. The over-under is set at 41.5. The Jaguars are the second worst team against opposing quarterbacks, just right after the Chargers. So we think about how bad the Chargers are, letting up over 300 yards a game to opposing quarterbacks. Jaguars are giving up 280. So that Steelers offense should be able to get something going against them. And with that being said, the Steelers defense is giving up the second most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers each and every week on a weekly basis. So we've got a recipe here, exactly what the Jags want to do. Get that ball out to Christian Kirk is going to line up with what the Steelers want to do against the Jags. There should be points abound, and I don't mind a little callback from the Steelers, some George Pickens on the other side to pair with your Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, because I think we'll have a decently high-scoring game here. How you feeling about that one, Steezy? We lose you there? I guess while we're waiting to see if we can get Steezy back. On the other side, I know I mentioned that I like George Pickens as a callback, but I debated back and forth this entire time on whether to put George Pickens and Kenny Pickett as my preferred stack or Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. So if you want to roll Kenny Pickett out there as your preferred stack, you can do that as well. Kenny Pickett and George Pickens should be solid. I like both sides of this game. Steezy, we got you back there, my friend. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. While we're waiting on Steezy to get back up in here, the Trevor Lawrence Christian Kirk stack I identified using the Fantasy Sports Logic's Contrarian Edge Optimizer that QR code was on the screen for previously. Some of the other stacks that I got from there, though, that they liked this week, they were a fan of throwing some Joshua Dobbs out there in week 8. Maybe after a poor week, the hype around Kyler Murray, you could get real contrarian with them against a Baltimore Ravens defense in a game that's expected to be pretty high scoring with a 44 over under. So I don't mind throwing Joshua Dobbs out there and take your pick of his receiving options. They're all pretty discounted pieces at this point. Excuse me. I apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having, guys. We're working on getting Steezy back up here. We'll have our friend Terrell joining us here ever so shortly as well. If you're looking for less of a budget stack this week, though, I know Steezy had one that he was going to roll out here with for us that I can go ahead and give you guys Steezy's stack. Steezy loved attacking the Ravens. So I mentioned the Cardinals and Joshua Dobbs. If you can grab Lamar Jackson sitting at 8,100, one of the highest priced quarterbacks, but he's still sitting behind guys like Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And then pair him with one of his pass catching options like a Zay Flowers sitting down at 5,600. It just seems like a complete misprice for Zay Flowers being valued around other wide receivers like, man, I can't even tell you a wide receiver sitting at him. Garrett Wilson is above him with Zach Wilson throwing him the ball right now. Adam Thielen's a solid 1,300 higher than him. Christian Kirk is a full 600 higher than Zay Flowers. Keith, you popping up here to talk some stacks with me? Make it make sense. Yeah. Why is Zay Flowers, the wide receiver one for the Baltimore Ravens, only priced at 5,300? Seems like a discount to pair him with one of these elite quarterbacks.
You know what? I think a lot of people don't realize how good of a season he's having. And I think everyone's going to go, the easy target is Mark Andrews. What's Mark Andrews priced at?
Probably a lot more than that. 6,400. Yeah, exactly. We're talking 1,100 higher.
That's what I'm saying. So I think everyone's going to go with Mark Andrews if they're going to stack Lamar Jackson. So it makes plenty of sense. And we got Terrell back too. Now we have the whole crew here.
The whole squad's here. Terrell, thanks for how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. You know, I had to break down some NBA before I came up here and talk some NFL with y'all.
Man, what you got next? MLB, then the hockey show after that?
Oh, yeah. And I got pickleball tonight. So I got to do the pickleball gambling podcast tonight. So look forward to checking that out.
And then at 3 a.m., find Terrell breaking down F1 at 3 o'clock in the morning as well.
And then at 4:30, that's when I get into the Korean baseball slate for the day. So, like, I'm just a busy man. I'm sorry.
I remember when sports got canceled, like when the beginning of the pandemic hit and just all sports got canceled. We really were watching things like Korean baseball, professional cornhole, like whatever was just available. I was watching like competitive Madden Sims and NBA Sims for like weeks just because I needed those sports. Steezy, while you were gone there, I went and gave the people your stack, the Lamar Jackson Zay Flower stack. You want to tell people a little bit about why you like that one?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Simon. I don't know why the internet went out for a little bit, but I just think for me, you look at the Arizona Cardinals defense. Yeah, they're getting back Buda Baker, but for the most part, they're just talent deficient, right? And with the Arizona Cardinals, they're just injuries all over the place. Yeah, you have a Buda Baker coming back, but on top of that, they just don't have a lot of talent. And with the Baltimore Ravens, it looks like everything's starting to click for that offense. Just ask the Detroit Lions. I mean, for crying out loud, they got absolutely blown out the water, and they're dealing with some injuries themselves. But I just think that it was only a matter of time before this Baltimore Ravens offense was going to wake up, and against a low life like the Arizona Cardinals, and given the fact that Lamar and the Ravens are 15-1 against the NFC in the last couple of years, I see a big dub, I see big stats, and I see big performances from Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and take your pick of the litter between the receivers, whether that's OBJ, Zay Flowers, or heck, you want a dart throw, maybe even a Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman love in there. I like the Zay Flowers play, especially with his price sitting at 5,600. It still feels like that's a little bit underpriced for the kind of season that Zay Flowers is having. Terrell, I believe
he's cracked 6. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right? Terrell, can you make that price make sense to me, or are you feeling like that's about fair for Zay Flowers?
I think it's a little off, but I understand why it's because they only use him in one aspect. And so this Baltimore offense doesn't really have multiple possession wide receivers. Like you don't have multiple possession wide receivers that are valuable to this team. Like they have Mark Andrews. That was kind of the issue with Hollywood Brown. He was a possession wide receiver, but they had to use him more as a deep threat because they had Mark Andrews and they can't support multiple possession wide receivers. And so that's the same thing Flowers was doing. But the issue with Flowers is that he creates so much separation, man. Like he's wide open in these throws. Like it's not like Lamar's like, oh man, where's Zay at? Oh, I think Zay down there somewhere. Let me just throw it to him. Like, no, he looks up and he's like, Zay, what are you doing, dog? How did you get so open? Like, how did you get so open? Now I have to throw it to you. Like, and so he gets a bunch of chunk plays on some big plays on those throws. And so it's not as consistent as people would want it to be, but the talent is there. And you just got to keep trusting that every week he's going to get open and get a big play and he's going to make yourself fantasy relevant.
I love that stack, Steezy. We got Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore receiving options. Take your pick. I'm throwing some Zay Flowers love in there. Terrell, I gave out the Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk stack. I just kind of love this Pittsburgh Steelers, Jacksonville Jaguars game this weekend. How you feeling about that one?
Oh, I am definitely feeling that game, and I'm feeling it so much that I faded what you're doing, and I went the other way.
Hey, I like
I'm giving out the Kenny Pickett, Dionate Johnson, and George Pickens stack because Dionate Johnson came into that game, and he didn't miss a beat. I think for the past 2 to 3 years, everybody's been wanting Dionate Johnson to not be a thing, and he's a thing. And
Dionate
why?
Drops in. They're trying to force it, man.
It's because he's one of the best wide receivers in the league, and nobody wants to talk about it because he continuously creates separation and gets open. And oh, what is the job of a wide receiver? To get open and wait for the ball to come to you. That's why this offense looked so much better last week and why I took them as a dog on the road against the Rams and hit. And make sure you check out, all my articles on sportstopia.io because 14-4 run, just throwing it out there. But, and I took them this week as a +2.5 home dog because Mike Tomlin's really good as a dog. And this offense looks way better with Dionate Johnson in it because he is that safe option that keeps the drive going. He gets the third down. He is that person that can catch a ball on 1st and 10 and make it 2nd and 5 and way easier on this offense to try to convert. So yeah, all over Dionate Johnson having a great game. We see what George Pickens does in the passing game and how good he is. And I think Pickett's going to be able to get it against the Jacksonville defense that's kind of soft in the secondary.
I like it. And if I throw out that Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk one, you bet I'm putting some Dionate Johnson or George Pickens as a
bring back. Yeah. Bring it as a bring back player for sure.
Because I want to tackle both sides of that game. So there's our stacks for this week we got for you guys. We're doubling down on that Jacksonville Pitt game. I'm taking the Lawrence Kirk side, but with a bring back player, maybe some George Pickens, maybe some Dionate Johnson. We'll see what the rest of that roster shapes out to be. Terrell likes the triple stack. Get both George Pickens and Dionate Johnson in there with Kenny Pickett on the other side of that game. And then Steezy says, take your pick of the Baltimore receivers with Lamar Jackson. Just make sure you're getting some Lamar Jackson into those lineups as well. Sygen in here stopping by was saying, I just watched throwback NFL games during the pandemic. When it was that sports vacuum, when there were just no sports for like a couple weeks there, what did you guys fill that time with? Because I assume you guys are like me where there's a lot of sports on the TV whenever sports are happening.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh man, that's the real answer.
It was Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was man. I'm telling you, that show is amazing. Like if you don't think it's good, just give it a chance. Please, just give it a chance. It's a really good show.
You're speaking my language. I always say NFL fans, if they don't like reality TV, they're lying because they do like reality TV. They watch an 18-month reality television show every single year. like the NFL is just reality TV for men who can't admit they like reality TV. I'm with you. Go watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. Steezy, what did you do during that time?
So I've seen a couple of episodes. I'm not gonna knock that show. I do like that show, but I'm just not great. Honestly, when there aren't any sports on the TV, I'm not really in front of the TV. And so when there weren't any sports really going on, what I did have on the TV was that I did that. I went on a lot of runs, or I would have ab workout videos on the screen, and I would just honestly hit
Hey,
abs every
Steezy had
single day.
Sean T
Work
on
out
the
every single
screen
day.
during the pandemic. He had Sean T on the screen during pandemic getting down to some insanity.
Sean T
Hey,
and doing
man.
the workouts.
Yeah, man.
But hey,
Everybody
I
else
was
throwing
on
Hey,
there.
that man
30
was
pounds
doing
on.
the Russ calisthenics on the plane.
Nobody
Yeah.
seems easy.
He was doing the
6
Russ
months.
calisthenics on the plane.
Oh man, but it was a whole lot of that. So it was still somewhat athletic and sports related. But Sajin, hey, that's my guy. So what up, Sajin? I definitely did watch a couple of throwback games as well as NBA. So definitely not a bad
Madden
time.
Sims too. Better on the Madden Sims too.
That's what Simon said. He watched a lot of simulations of 2K and Madden, right?
Yeah, the Madden
Yeah.
Sims. We were betting on Madden Sims, man. It was
Yeah,
it was a crazy time.
there
Shout out to the
was
DJs.
Wow.
real like Twitter full conversations just about Madden Sim betting going on out there. That shit was going wild. But guys, what else is about to go wild is we're about to get into our game of Fantasy Feud for today. Steezy, last time we played this, you pulled out an improbable victory there at the end of the game. But Terrell is coming back looking for that dub, looking for some revenge. Because, man, you did him dirty last time pulling that one out. It looked lost, and you stole it. For those of you who have never played here with us before, here's how this game is going to work. I'm going to ask a question like, name the top 6 PPR running backs through the first 7 weeks of the season. If either of our contestants, Steezy or Terrell, thinks they can name all of them without getting 3 wrong, they're going to buzz in by saying their own name. If they get all of them, they're going to get all of those points. But if they get 3 strikes before naming the final one, their opponent will have an opportunity to steal. How they can steal is just by naming one of the remaining players or teams, whatever I'm asking for. If you name that one, you're stealing every single point from that round. We got 4 rounds. Whoever's got the most points after round 4 is our Fantasy Feud champion for the day. You guys ready to get it?
Let's do it.
Hey, I'm always ready.
Let's do it. Oh, my one moment here, and we'll get that. This first one coming your way. What I need to know is name the 5 NFL teams with 10 or more rushing touchdowns through the first 7 weeks of the season.
What?
You said 5 or more teams?
Name the 5 NFL teams with 10 or more rushing touchdowns through the first 7 weeks of the season.
Steezy.
Well, I heard Rel ever so slightly before the season. It might even be that internet connection, man.
I kind of didn't want to take it, but I don't know, man. Steezy be clutching up. I gotta. All right. So 5 NFL teams. Dolphins have to be one because they had like 10 in one game.
Dolphins are number 1 on the list with 15. They got
Hey man,
15.
if the Dolphins weren't up there, I would have just gave up all 3 X's at that point. And I said, Steezy, you go ahead. All right. So we got the Dolphins. Let's throw the Falcons in. Oh well, they even scored 10 touchdowns. They might not even scored 10 touchdowns, but man, they run the ball all the time. Fine, we'll go to Falcons.
The Falcons, unfortunately, are not on there. They've only got 5 rushing touchdowns through the first 7 weeks of the season. So that is 1 strike.
I knew they didn't have 10 touchdowns.
It should have more, though.
Should have more.
All right.
This was name the NFL teams who should have 10 or more rushing touchdowns. You would have got a point right there for sure.
Travis Etienne is. Oh, wait, no. First of all, Christian McCaffrey has a rushing touchdown every game in the season thus far. 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers number 2 on the list with 13. Nice job.
And so, boom, you almost had me. You almost had me. You said rushing touchdown. Don't matter if it was a running back. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles, unfortunately, are not on here. They got 9.
No.
They are 1.
I was gonna say Philly. I was gonna say Philly.
No.
But it's 2 strikes. That was a phenomenal guess. They are 1 away from that threshold.
Oh crap! I should have let him have it. Oh man! All right. Travis Etienne's been going kind of crazy recently to Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Jaguars have 9 rushing
No,
touchdowns.
get out of here.
Season. I am sorry. You are pro at naming 9 or more, but that is 2 points that's going to go your way unless Steezy can name one of the remaining 3. Steezy, what you got here?
Man, wait, so Ray, you already said Jacksonville, right?
That was his 3rd strike right there. Was
That's
Jacksonville.
Okay. I'm tripping. He just said that. All right. So let me roll with I'm gonna roll with Seattle for one of them.
Well, you only get 1 guess here. Seattle?
Yeah. Oh well.
Seattle Seahawks with 6 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Not
I was like, no way.
list.
I was like, no way. I haven't even heard of Kim Walker scoring 10. Yeah, I didn't think that was it.
Well, he has like 6 or 7 by himself, but I guess aside from
Who
him,
else
nobody
is
else
doing
has
it?
one.
Who else is rushing? Getting a rushing touchdown. Who is the rest of the teams on this list?
Number 3 on the list is the Indianapolis
Yeah,
Colts at 11. Tied with the Colts at 11 is the Baltimore
guess.
Ravens.
Ah,
And then number 5 with 10 rushing touchdowns is the Detroit Lions.
Lions. How they do Family Feud? Lions.
Well, you guys, Terrell, you only got 2 of them, but Steezy couldn't steal, so you got a slight lead here. That could be the difference in the game as we're going down the stretch. Steezy, you did say something there that I wanted to touch on, though. You mentioned the Falcons should have more rushing touchdowns. Are there concerns around Bijan Robinson after he unexpectedly missed last week? Are you worried if you're a Bijan manager?
Man, honestly, yeah, you should be. And not necessarily because of what happened in week 8, whatever that debacle happened to be or is. I just think that when you're playing for Arthur Smith and you're a skill position player, like we talked about, in the beginning of the NFL season, there are just times in which he doesn't like to use elite skill position players, especially those prospects that they like to take in the top 10. And so, yeah, but again, not because of what happened, it's just because of the head coach that he plays for, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's why Bijan Robinson owners should be concerned, because of his head coach.
Not because he was had a headache last week. You're not worried about that.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
Bro, you feeling similarly here to Steezy when it comes to Bijan and any concerns down the stretch?
Yeah, no concerns. I just wish, they would have said something. I mean, I started Tyler Algier anyway, so I mean, I guess it worked out for me.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I'm not gonna make it seem like I had this ultra good call. Like I would love to tout and make it seem like I had this ultra good call, and I just knew that Tyler Algier was gonna be the running back to start this week. I didn't. I had no other choice, and it just worked out. Sometimes fantasy is lucky. Hey.
100%.
I respect that.
Rel, if I started Dionate Foreman or Tyler Algier or Darrell Henderson just out of necessity, you bet your ass I'd be victory lapping right now. You are a bigger man than me. I would be going, and I started them this week.
Hey, anybody that know me know I'll take a victory lap for sure, but I can't even claim that one because I was looking for anybody. I'm telling you, if I got anybody that was any close of a replacement, I would have played him. Like 100%, I would have played. I was so out on Tyler Algier.
Was this in a 16 team?
This is which team is this? Hold on, because I got multiple leagues, so I got to remember which one I did what in. I am pretty sure. Nope, this is not the Dynasty League. This is a 16-team league.
I figured.
No, I lied. That is not the 16-team. That is the 12-team league. But I still had no other choice. Because my whole team was on a bye last week. I had Derrick Henry on a bye, Garrett Wilson on a bye, DeAndre Hopkins on a bye, Chigun Kongwu on a bye, and then we had Elijah Mitchell, who I didn't trust, and Lord, thank you for not trusting him. And then I had Jeff Wilson on IR, and I ultimately just let him sit in the IR slot because I didn't know if the production was going to be there yet. And good thing I didn't, because he had 1.4. So again, if I could have found any reasonable option to not play Tyler Algier, I would have, but I had nothing.
Understood.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes it works out in your favor. You got an early lead here. Sygen, shout out to them. Got Dolphins, Ravens, Colts, and Lions pulling those out. Just missing some 49ers in there. We're going to move on to our second prompt here. Bro, you got a 2-0 lead. Steezy, plenty of time to come back. Say your name if you think you know all of these. What I need is name the 6 players most favored to lead the league in regular season sacks, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. And this is the players doing the
I hope you get it as fast as you said it before he finished getting the question out. I hope you get all 6. I really do.
My bad, sir. I didn't interrupt you there.
No, you guys can interrupt me. It's a game.
No. I respect it. I just hope it work out for you.
No, I feel you, and I respect that. I appreciate that.
What Dame say to what was it, Dame? What Dame say to dude at the free throw line? Have you ever been in this situation before? Have you been in this situation where you had to clutch this before?
Act like you've been here. Okay, so name the 6 most players. I'm gonna go with Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett is number 2 on this list at plus 500.
Okay, let me go with Why am I? TJ Watt.
TJ Watt's number 1 on this list at plus 350.
Okay, let me go with Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa is not on this list.
What?
I know. Let me see where Nick Bosa's sitting at. Nick Bosa is down at plus 3,600. There's about 13 players ahead of him in odds.
What? Okay, I understand the sack numbers aren't there right now, but if I'm a betting man, I'm looking at that as an opportunity. So Vegas tripping right now, but okay, that's wild. That's wild. If this doesn't work, what was that?
That's just one strike, though. You got 2 correct,
okay.
just 1 strike. You got plenty of time to get the others.
If this one doesn't work, I'm gonna refrain from the big name guys, but Micah Parsons,
number 6 on this list, and the last one plus 1,400 to lead the league in sacks.
Wow. Okay, let me go with Max Crosby for another one.
Max Crosby is number 4 on this list at plus 1,000 to lead the league in sacks. So you got 1, 2, 4, and 6. You're missing 3 and 5.
3 and 5. Okay, let me go with. Ah, man, I'm running out of options here. At least names.
Who's it gonna be?
I'm gonna go. Man. Oh, Danielle Hunter.
Sitting at number 3, Danielle Hunter at plus 750. There is 1 remaining. Number 5. If you can name this one, you sweep. You got 2 tries to get it.
Ooh, bring out the brooms, man. Let me go with Actually, this one's kind of a dart throw, but I'm gonna go. Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson, I am sorry, is not on that list. Tied with Nick Bosa at plus 3,600 in those odds. So that is plus.
Disrespect.
That's 2 strikes.
Oh, there's only 2. Oh, okay, I'm tripping. Okay,
you got
I'm
one
tripping.
more strike.
Okay. Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack is not correct. Khalil Mack is sitting at plus 2,600. So there's 1 remaining. Terrell, you get this right, you're going to steal all 6 points. Otherwise, Steezy's going to get 5.
Can you read off all the names that were said again for me, please?
Yes. He just said Aiden Hutchinson. The other 2 incorrect ones he said were Nick Bosa and Khalil Mack was the other incorrect one. The correct ones that he has said are TJ Watt, number 1, Myles Garrett, number 2, Danielle Hunter, number 3, Max Crosby, number 4, and then Micah Parsons, number 6. So we're missing number 5.
Okay. Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is incorrect, sitting at plus 5,000. The last name on this list is Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is number 5 on this list at plus 1,100 odds. But it's easy. That's going to earn you 5 points and the lead real quick after 2 rounds, 5-2.
I just knew Chris Jones was there. He's got like 4.5 sacks on the season already. How many sacks has he had?
And he missed the first game.
I need to go. Matter of fact, why do I not know the sack numbers? Because how do you not near the top? You had, I think he has 4.5.
He's got to be. So, Steezy, you're liking that Nick Bosa number down there at plus 3,600?
I mean, well, okay, yeah. As far as if I'm a betting man, I do like that number because
that's why.
Eventually he's gonna pick up the sack production, right? I mean, there's really no choice but to go up, and he is coming off a defensive player of the year type of season, and so for him to be that low, the disrespect. I mean, come on, Vegas, what are we doing?
Just sprinkle something on it, a little something on there. Chris Jones has 5.5 sacks is what we're getting from our producer Keith over here. So he's sitting at 5.5 right now. You would feel like his odds would be a little better than plus 5,000 when he's sitting at 5.5.
Right. Especially for an interior defensive lineman. And he missed week 1.
Man, I don't know. All right. Well, we got a score here of 5-2 in Steezy's favor over Terrell. We got 2 more prompts though before this game is over. You guys ready for this third one?
Let's go.
Okay, here it is. Name the 7 running backs with 100 or more rushing attempts on the season.
Bro.
Okay, Terrell, you're playing this one. I need the 7 running backs that have 100 or more rushing attempts.
Oh, crap. Because the first game of the season, he didn't get many attempts, but we're pretty far into the season at this point. DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift, number 6 on this list with 101. He has 101 carries on the year, barely sneaking in there. Nice pull.
Oh, I'm screwed. I don't know how I'm guessing the other person that has either 101 or 100 exact. I don't know.
We might have lost Ralph. He got too excited about naming these running backs. So you got some time to figure out who your backup's going to be. He saw that DeAndre Swift had 101 and there was still one below. He said, I'm out of here.
All right.
We got you back now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't even.
We got you back.
All right.
We lost you there for a minute.
Oh,
shoot. Seems like we're losing him again.
I think we
may just have to roll for a minute, figure out what we got going on here. He's joining us back right now. Get those guesses ready. Terrell, we got you.
Apparently everything in this one moment.
Everything hates us. What we may have to do here, Steezy, is if we can't get him working, you start thinking regularly. Oh, he's giving me answers via text now. He's coming in and saying Christian McCaffrey as his answer. Well, Christian McCaffrey's number 2 on this list with 125 carries. That is correct, Terrell. You got 2 right, no strikes. You're playing against a ghost at this point, Steezy. Terrell said Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is correct as well. Number 5 on this list with 109 carries. RIP all of my Zach Charbonnet shares because Kenneth Walker is getting everything. Terrell, you got 3 right. You got no strikes. Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, and DeAndre Swift. What else you think is up here?
Oh, man. Kyron Williams is like, no, I don't want to do it because he's missed too much. And he kind of picked it up, even though he had a bunch of rushes. No way. When did Nick Chubb go down? Week 2? Nah, can't be.
Week 1.
That wasn't week 1. It was week 2.
Was it week 2? Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah, week 2. Yeah,
Oh man. All right. We're gonna go with this. Feels like a stretch, but this could be the 100 player, Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert, unfortunately, is incorrect. Mostert's got 84 touches at this point in the season.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Oh, man. This is hard. A lot of these guys are injured. I really don't want to say Derrick Henry, but I'm going to say him. I really don't want to say him because he's been pretty, it's just been
out of respect, though. I feel that.
But out of respect, I feel like I have to say it. Derrick Henry.
You're going to kill me. He's got 98 rushing attempts.
I knew that wasn't going to go my way. I knew that wasn't I should have let Steezy have him. I knew that wasn't going to go my way.
I would have said him.
I know he would have said it. It would have been a great.
It would have been dumb not to say it. Yeah, someone's got to say Derrick Henry.
Yeah, again, out of respect.
So you got number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Number 5, Kenneth Walker.
I knew that wasn't going my way.
DeAndre Swift. You've got 2 strikes with Derrick Henry and Raheem Mostert. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to just go Tony.
Tony Pollard on this list. Pollard has 96 carries and does not hit that 100 threshold, which means, Steezy, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 options available for you to steal these points.
Okay, I'm going to go with 1, Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne is number 1 on the list. 127 rushing attempts on the year so far, ahead of even Christian McCaffrey. Steezy, you're stealing these points. 4 of them making the score 9-2 at this point. 9-2.
Yeah, it sure was. As soon as I said it, I was like, dang, I missed that one.
Anyone else surprised to see Travis Etienne as the rushing attempts leader through 7 weeks in the season?
I think if he asked me 3 weeks ago, I'd say yes, but now, no, not necessarily. I mean, man, that man's been balling now, so keep feeding him the rock.
What's his ceiling rest of the year? Are we looking at a top 5 PPR running back, top 3, top 10?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, top 5. Top 5 easy. I mean, because not only is he getting all the goal line touches, I mean, eventually, if he's not already, he's going to be integrated more into the passing game. I mean, people forget in Clemson or over at Clemson, him and Trevor Lawrence were magic when it came to them in the passing game. And so it's only a matter of time until that comes around. If Calvin Ridley still doesn't show up in the second half of the season, I expect Travis Etienne to be incorporated more so into the game plan in that regard.
I just have to assume that if you're beating out a guy whose name is Tank Bigsby for goal line touches, that you are going to be a top 5 running back. You beat
That's
out a
great point,
guy
man.
whose
Great point.
name is Tank Bigsby for goal line touches. Yeah, Travis Etienne to the moon.
Yo, that's a
To the moon.
literal fake running back name from like a retro.
That's
bowl
like
video
somebody. That's
game.
somebody's fantasy team name. Like, dog. He was meant to
Oh.
be a truck.
In
Right.
college-
That's equivalent to a Debo, right?
Exactly. In college, I played
Damn near.
pickup basketball against this dude who called himself Tank, and I tried to drive on him. I went in hard, man, and I just ran into a freaking brick wall, bounced against the ground. I was out for the rest of that pickup basketball session. Tank did me dirty. And so now I got to respect for people who go by Tank.
Yeah, right.
If you're old enough to introduce yourself to me as Tank, then I'm going to back off a little bit. Like I'm just
Wait, but hold on. But Simon and Rail, hold on. What about the guy over there in Houston, Nathaniel Tank Dale, who's about 5'7", 5'8"? What about that Tank?
I guarantee he may be 3 inches shorter than me, but he could truck me into the earth so far with one stiff arm. I don't stand a chance in hell. I may have 20 pounds on him, but that dude will run straight through me and throw me into the ground.
Dang, I didn't know
He's
his
stronger
first
than he
name.
looks.
I didn't know his first name was Nathaniel. I'd be going by Tank too.
No,
Because you don't like Well, what about Nathan? You don't like Nathan?
Nah, I probably still go by Tank. Like Nathan
no,
just
I'll
seems like
go
a
with
guy you can beat up. Like, oh, hey, Nathan's getting beat up in the parking lot. Hey, they're beating Nathan up. They're jumping Nathan in the parking lot. Like, yeah.
Nathaniel, get inside this instant.
Like what?
Nathaniel.
Nah, I go by Tank too.
All
Oh
right.
my
Well,
God.
guys, Steezy's got a nice little lead here, but I will tell you this last one has 8 options. So, Terrell, not only can you tie this game, you could win it if you sweep this last one. Steezy, you can pile on and make this victory even bigger here. But we got one more prompt. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Before we get into that, I didn't even mention the other players that were on the list. So we had Travis Etienne and Christian McCaffrey at 1 and 2. Number 3 with 118 running back attempts is Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has 118.
Oh, I was going to say
rush
Josh
attempts.
Jacobs.
They've been giving him that many attempts and he
I
hasn't
know.
done nothing.
He's done nothing with it.
Wait, Simon.
I never got that one.
I'm sorry. Before you, is there one more guy?
There's 2 more. So there's number 4 and
Can I
number
just-
7.
Can I guess one of them real quick? Because I
Yeah,
just want to
let's
see if
hear
I
it.
had it right. Zach Moss.
Zach Moss is the next one on the list with 114.
So you know,
touches.
I was debating. I was like, Zach Moss did do a lot, but I tried to discredit him. It's my fault.
Zach Moss in a dynasty league. What are you doing with that dude? Because we saw some promise from him, but he's behind Jonathan Taylor with a new contract.
I have him. I have him
you
in my
just-
dynasty league with Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, he's just going to show there.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, if Zach Moss has done anything, he's proven that the Bills cannot support a good running back, and Zach Moss can actually go somewhere else and be pretty good as a number 2 and potentially
His
a number
trade
1
value.
starter. Yeah, 100%. He really skyrocketed his trade value. Like he's literally the proof that the Bills are just not good running backs. Like I thought that it was like, oh, maybe Singletary can go to Houston and do something, but Singletary's not good. But no, Moss is actually really good.
We can just be sad about every running back that gets drafted to the Bills for the foreseeable future.
I'm
Each
just
and
waiting
every
for when
time.
James Cook falls off the ledge.
Oh, no.
It's gonna
close
happen
your
at some
ears.
point. It's gonna happen at some point. At some point, he's gonna fall off a cliff,
Ah.
and he's gonna go into the ether that is Bills running backs that refuse to be consistently valuable in fantasy.
And then suddenly Damian Harris is going to be back to being relevant. We're going to be like, what the hell? Where did this come
Maybe
from?
it's after Josh Allen is fully healed. When he's fully healed, that's probably when he starts taking about 50 yards and a touchdown away from them.
Any guesses on that number 7 one with exactly 100 carries?
Nope.
Oh, let me go. Let me
No,
see if
because
I
it's
can-
gonna piss me off. I know it is.
Oh, Isaiah Pacheco.
That's exactly right, Steezy. It's
Oh,
Isaiah
I literally
Pacheco.
was thinking Isaiah Pacheco too. I was
Yeah.
literally sitting here thinking, I was like, why should be Isaiah Pacheco? Dang.
All right, well, the
Wow,
score
okay.
is 9-2. Before we get into our last one, our friend Mo Diesel in the chat's got a question for us. It says, half PPR, would you trade away Aaron Jones, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and KJ Osborne in return for Devontae Adams and Joshua Palmer? Rel, you making this move, or are you keeping the Jones Hollywood Osborne side? Well, we might have lost Rel again down there. Steezy, what about you? You making this move?
Man, this is a tough trade. Again, it obviously depends on circumstances, but I think I'm in favor of the part of the deal where the guy is getting the best player in the deal. And so Give me Devontae Adams and Josh Palmer. Yes, I would trade Aaron Jones, Hollywood, and Osborne. Josh Palmer has kind of been coming on as of late, especially given the injury to Mike Williams. He's not coming back, obviously. And then Devontae Adams, I think it's only a matter of time before he starts to kind of kick things into high gear. Aaron Jones has had a hard time staying healthy. Hollywood Brown, his value will go up once Kyler Murray comes back into the lineup, but I'm just not really excited about KJ Osborne. So, yeah, I would trade away those guys for Devontae and Josh Palmer.
Yeah, I think I'm making that move as well. And Rel, I know yesterday you were talking about all your fantasy teams waiting for Kyler Murray to come back, but for Hollywood, not because of Kyler Murray. Does that change the way you're viewing this trade?
Which is really that's the part that's struggling here, because it's clearly like Devontae Adams trade, but how good is Hollywood going to be with Kyler Murray? There's actually a chance in the world that Kyler Murray sucks, so I'm going to say Devontae Adams. Give me that.
Yeah, it does feel bad trading Hollywood at what should be the lowest value through the season. Right now, I'm expecting his value to go up when Kyler Murray comes back, but yeah, you don't say no to Devontae Adams on that side of the trade mode, Diesel.
Wait, real quick though. Speaking of somebody whose value should go up aside from a Hollywood, I really like Michael Wilson. So for you guys that are tuned in, once Kyler Murray comes back, you're looking for a dart throw or you're looking for a sleeper to kind of hold on to if he's still available, add Michael Wilson.
Throw him on the bench, wait for Kyler Murray to come back. And we've already seen some flashes from Michael Wilson this year with Joshua Dobbs. It's not like you can just go and watch some of that tape. He's had a couple big fantasy games already.
Against the Niners comes to mind. 7 catches, 76 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So
absolutely. All right. Well, guys, we're going to move into our last one here. There are 8 options here, and what I need from you are the 8 most expensive flex player options for the DraftKings main slate of games this Sunday. So the 8 most – Terrell's buzzing in to play this, trying to pull out the W here in round 4. What you got? The 8 most expensive flex players.
I think this is a trick question.
So this is running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends for the main slate of game.
This is a trick question because you can put anybody in the flex. So Christian McCaffrey is number 2 on this list. Yeah, we're just going down. Yeah, so we got to get the 8 most expensive. Okay.
Anybody but quarterbacks, basically.
Yeah.
Or kickers or defense.
So, yeah, Jamar Chase has got to be in there too.
Jamar Chase is number 5 on this list at 8,100.
Who else is who everybody else really, really likes these days? Austin Eckler's probably up there against the Bears.
Austin Eckler is not.
Oh no, because they have Sunday night football. They have Sunday night football. That was a trick question. All right. So we go through, and who are the best players around the league?
The one good thing about this question this week is there's no buys this week, so you don't have to worry about remembering the bye weeks.
Oh, there isn't any buys. I'm gonna say Tony Pollard's still up there.
Tony Pollard is outside the top 8. That is 2 strikes with Austin Eckler and Tony Pollard. I can find you his salary.
I know these people are. First of all, I know that they do not deserve to have this high of a salary. I know it. Travis Etienne's got to be up there. He's been mauling.
Travis Etienne. 1 second. Let me pull my key back up here. Is not one of the 8 most expensive flex players. Unfortunately, that is 3 strikes.
Oh, that's wild.
Means Steezy, you got a shot here at stealing these. What's it going to be?
Wait, so he's only listed one player you got right, which is C-Mac?
He got C-Mac and Jamar Chase.
Okay, Jamar Chase. Okay, so we need 6 more.
Yes, you need 6 more.
Okay, let's go with...
If you just name one, you're going to steal the 3 points, is how this is going to work. So you just got to name one of the remaining ones left.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me go with Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is number 3 on this list at 9,000. Nice job, Steezy. You're going to steal those points, and with that, the victory in this week's game. Got a little streak rolling at this point. Other names
once I get high, stay high.
Number 1 on this list, Tyreek Hill, sitting at 9,500. He is the most expensive flex player. Number 4 on this list, Travis Kelce at 8,400, in between Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase. Number 6 is Saquon Barkley at 8,000. They like Saquon Barkley this week in that matchup. Something about it they like. They got A.J. Brown also at 8,000, tied with Saquon Barkley. And then at number 8, they got Puka Nacua at 7,900. So Puka Nacua sitting down at 7,900. That was the one. That was the one that I thought was tricky, having Puka Nacua that high up there. I'm not sure I could spend up $7,900 for Puka Nacua when Cooper Kupp's $9,000.
Yeah, that's way too much.
Well, are you surprised to see Puka Nacua as the 8th most expensive player in this DraftKings main slate?
Yeah, definitely more than Travis Etienne. I mean, against the Steelers defense is pretty soft. I think Travis Etienne actually is a value, even though I'm on the Steelers. I think that Travis Etienne is a really big value. I thought I was cleaning up the back end and I would be able to, and then at some point I'd remember all the easy players that, but I thought I'd at least get the back end. I don't know. I guess people are really into Puka Nacua, and I get it. He just had a really big week last week, so maybe that's it.
Pollard down at 7,500 and Etienne at 7,200. And I have to agree with you, Terrell. That 7,200 price tag on Etienne is looking pretty freaking nice. Maybe I got to change that stack to a Trevor Lawrence, Etienne, Christian Kirk stack.
I might have to use
those players in there.
I might have to put him as my bring back player. I just might
get him in there as that bring back player. Any names on this list that you are totally fine spending up for this week? As a reminder, it was Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua. Which of these big names is most likely to find their way into your lineup?
Travis Kelce for me. I mean, you look at the matchup, the Denver Broncos have allowed the most, if not the most, they're definitely in the top 3 as far as most points or fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends. It looks like he's starting to get hot, and we can only hope that Taylor Swift is in attendance. So give me Travis Kelce.
Get those points. Get the Taylor Swift bump. What about you, Ralph? He says, I'm not talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Well, we had a question pop in here from Alec. Alex said, hey, fellas, start Miles Sanders or Gus Edwards. Steezy, which of these two are you rolling out this week?
This one's easy for me. It got to be Gus Edwards. I just feel like game script is also going to be in his favor on top of the soft matchup. And so if this ends up being a blowout come the fourth quarter, Gus Edwards is going to get all the carries that he can handle. And aside from Lamar Jackson, he's really the only guy that's getting touches at the goal line. Justice Hill could be a threat every now and then, but this one's easy. Give me Gus Edwards. Miles Sanders has just been very inefficient this year, and I really don't like him. In fantasy, not in real life, of course.
Yeah. Last week, we got a big game out of Gus Edwards, so it feels like chasing points a little bit, but this should be a relatively high-scoring game, and I'm with you. You throw him in there, and don't expect another 20 PPR point game from Gus Edwards, right. But be cool with 10 to 12 because you can put him in there and he can get you 10 to 12 points pretty easily, no problem. How are you feeling about Miles Sanders rest of season now that we've seen Chuba Hubbard kind of show up and show out?
See, going back to what I was saying, in fantasy, I just don't like him. I mean, going into this season, I liked him because I thought he was going to be utilized as a pass catcher. Because if we recall his rookie season in Philadelphia, when Frank Reich was on the coaching staff, they utilized Miles Sanders to the tune of 50+ receptions. And I only remember that because I had him in fantasy that year. And I was just like, yo, is this guy like the next Saquon Barkley, in which he's being equally used out of the backfield in addition to his talents as a running back? And then after that, he kind of just fell off the face of the earth as far as, catching passes out of the backfield. And so I had high hopes for him entering the season. But, I mean, given what we've seen now, given the incompetence of the offensive line, or just the offense as a whole, Chuba Hubbard's emergence, yeah, I really don't like Miles Sanders for the rest of the season. If you could trade him and get anything in return, I would do that, Alec.
Yeah, and it seems like the Panthers they're totally fine just chucking the ball these past couple games. Like they got no problems just letting Bryce Young air it out, which seems a little scary, but he's got 38 and 41 pass attempts in the past 2 games. Like, I don't know, man. Protect that dude. Adam Thielen traded up for that pick. You're right. Adam Thielen is freaking cooking, man. Is that sustainable, or is this old man going to slow down at some point during the season?
Look, I don't have anything against older people, but I don't think it's sustainable.
I do. Screw you, old people. I'm just kidding.
Simon has no mercy. Shout out to Alec. He said he dropped the sub. But I think for me, I don't think it's sustainable just because I do think that they're going to look to get Jonathan Mingo more involved. They are coming off a bye. And I think they have high hopes for Jonathan Mingo. I also think that opposing defenses are going to start keying in on an Adam Thielen just a little bit more, ever so slightly. But that's not to say he still can't finish, as a wide receiver 1. Just temper expectation just a little bit.
Man, I think Mingo might be a sneaky dynasty trade target right now before the second half of this season. I'm not sure it's going to happen in redraft, but go trade for some Mingo in your dynasty leagues. Well, guys, that is going to be it for us today. Steezy on a winning streak. Got another dub in Fantasy Feud today. Congrats, my boy. Everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us today. Make sure you go follow Sportstopia on YouTube, Instagram, and X at Sportstopia HQ. They're going to be giving you all the updates, all the links, and all the videos that you want to help you guys succeed across fantasy and NFL. And Steezy's going to be up right after this with our friend Terrell to help you with some NBA as well. Until then, though, we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and get ready for Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Nailed it this week. We'll see you guys. Adios, everyone.